All right. Welcome to this week's Traveling on Everyday Spend Points and Miles report. Got a lot of things to cover. First, want to thank each and every person that supports the channel and is on here today and will be listening to the recording. But I won't waste your time. Let's just get right to the agenda that we've got. So we're going to obviously talk. We got a lot of different credit card offers that are changing for this week, as well as some transfer bonuses. Definitely, again, a lot of points and miles opportunities that we're going to see, especially a lot from all, which is Accor, Live Limitless, as well as Hyatt. So we're looking forward to talking about those with you. We'll also talk about the Alaska mileage plan and that there's been some last minute partner awards blocking that's been going on. It's been reported over the last week or two by different sites, and we do have some information on that. So we'll touch on that. We'll also talk about Virgin Red now being able to get utilized for redemptions on Virgin hotels, not all Virgin hotels. So we'll talk about that as well. Then we've got a lot of Chase Sapphire Lounge news. We've got the Phoenix Lounge that is now open. We've got the San Diego Lounge that will be opening soon. We've got one that's closing, and we also know of some openings as well as a pop-up that will be going on. And then we got to talk about the Caesar Diamond Status match that is closing. That loophole that we'll be talking about has been widely talked about in points and miles, and it's going to be unfortunately closing, as well as a few other items that I'll be throwing in just to add some information to the show. So let's go ahead and get started. Want to first say thanks to Matt Clausen. Appreciate you stopping in. I call the tidbits that he does, as I've mentioned before, great daily information that he's able to provide, and really appreciate him stopping through today. I've got Mr. Kohu. Appreciate you stopping through, sir. Let's do this person blue speaking microphone. Thanks so much for stopping in. Really appreciate it. And John, thank you so much. Really appreciate your kindness for the $2. And yes, hitting the like and subscribe button is always appreciated. Hopefully you're getting benefits from the information I provide. So thank you so much. And yep, hey, Matt, thanks so much. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to first look at the credit card offers. So Amex has kind of really shaved their offerings down. Right now, we're basically looking at just the Hilton Honors credit cards that are going to go through January 8th of 2025. And that's going to apply to all of the Hilton cards for both personal and business. And we've got all the way till January 8th for those. So as I've said before, take some time and figure out a plan if you're looking for these. We have plenty of time to be able to do it. And with those point offerings, there are definitely some stays that you're going to be able to get accomplished. And you've got a range of from a no annual fee card all the way up to the Hilton Aspire at $550. So plenty of options there. We now have, for Bank of America, still have the Alaska Airline Visa Signature Card with the 60,000 bonus miles, as well as the companion fare just for $3,000 worth of spend in the first 90 days. And I say just because in a few years back, or a couple years back, the companion fare came with it as a yearly addition. Now you have to have a level of spend to get to it, and being able to get it up front is really nice. Unfortunately, I screwed up and I did not use my companion fare when I got my card last year. And I will say this for anybody, it probably won't show up happen for most of you all. I got the card thinking it was going to be a great option, and it is a good card. The problem is that I did not know that Alaska Airlines only flies from my home airport one time a day, and it only goes to Seattle. So going to any other place, unless it's to Seattle or Alaska or the West Coast, was kind of out. Just didn't have the time to. So make sure to check your home airport and make sure that you have some options. And then as far as Barclays, we still have the Wyndham credit cards for the personal as well as the business that have the elevated offer for those, all the way ranging from 45,000 points for the rewards earner to 75,000 points for the Earner Plus, as well as the Earner Business Card. For Chase, we now have some changes that have gone on. Right now, the Freedom Unlimited has a limited time offer of $250 for just $500 worth of spend for the first 3 months. So that is an excellent sweetener for a no annual fee card that is kind of the backbone of the Chase trifecta. We still have the 2 Disney Visa credit cards that have their elevated bonus of $200 and $400 statement credits. We also still have the Aeroplan card with up to 100,000 miles. But of course, as we've talked about before, it's really the 75,000 miles for the $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months that is worth it. 25,000 miles for $20,000 worth of spend in the first 12 months really does not work. And then we have the IHG One Rewards Traveler Card, a nice way to be able to take a foot into the water with IHG. No annual fee, but 100,000 points for $2,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And then we now have the Southwest credit cards for all the personal cards, all have the same exact bonus, whether it's the $69 plus, the $99 Premier, or the $149 Priority. It's a limited time offer. Each of them will have a $400 statement credit and 40,000 miles for $3,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. So you really are going to have a lot of options to be able to pick up some points and that statement credit to be able to take care of a couple of flights. And that'll be a good option to be able to look at. Then we also have the United cards that also now have elevated bonuses. We have the United Gateway with no annual fee with 30,000 miles for just $1,000 worth of spend. The United Explorer card, which is a really nice card to have, has a waived annual fee in the first year with $95 afterwards. You'll get 60,000 miles for $3,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And then if you are a person that flies United a lot, we're going to get into the United Quest card that has the $260 annual fee. You'll get 70,000 miles plus 500 PQPs for $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And then you'll have the United Club with $525 annual fee, 90,000 miles for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. We don't necessarily know, of course, with a lot of, when it comes to Chase, when credit card offers are going to end. We have to essentially rely on some of the more, the bigger bloggers that end up finding things out, whether it be the Points Guy or Frequent Miler or other ones of that type. So if you do have interest in Southwest or United, make sure to kind of figure out what you may want to. We do know they're limited time offers. And then we also still have the Marriott Boundless $95 annual fee with 125,000 points for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. We do now have a offer on the Amazon Prime, which is getting you a $200 Amazon gift card that you'll receive instantly upon approval. So for a no annual fee and $200 as we get to the holidays, it is a nice touch. Then as far as Citi, we still have the Business Platinum credit card with no initial annual fee for the first year, $99 afterwards, 75,000 miles for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 5 months. And then the Citi Strata Premier, which might as well be the standard now, even though they still say it's an offer, 75,000 points for $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And before we get to the transfer bonuses, I want to make sure to say, thanks for stopping through. Really appreciate it. And to Luke's Points and Miles, appreciate you stopping through, sir. I'm sure most people know Luke, very popular credit card creator, really content creator. Really appreciate him coming through. Definitely enjoy his content and his spin on things, as well as his live stream. So definitely be sure to check him out. Philmo78, appreciate you coming through, sir. And so let's move to the transfer bonuses. So transfer bonuses that we have currently for Amex, we've got the Flying Blue, which actually ended. I missed that one. But we still have Marriott at 30% transfer bonus, Cathay Pacific at 15% through November 30th, Avianca 15% through December 31st. And then for Capital One, we've got British Airways all the way to the end of the calendar year at 20%. In Chase, we have Marriott at November 5th through November 15th at 50%, and Virgin at 40%. Now, as I normally talk about when it comes to these transfer bonuses, none of these are really groundbreaking for you to speculate on. The Virgin is a bit on the little bit on the higher end than it normally is. We normally see 30% a lot, but 40% does pop up every now and again. These are just really sweeteners. Like you already have a plan for a travel, and it just happens to fit where there's a transfer bonus for you to take advantage of. But these are still some pretty good offers that are going on, and once again, as a sweetener. And then we have Citi that has Virgin Atlantic at 30% for a couple more days, as well as Wyndham for 20% through November 16th. And then we still have Accor, the Flying Blue match, which is a bit of an odd one. This is only a one-way as far as converting your all points to Flying Blue. Not really an ideal move unless you absolutely need the points because of all having that fixed rate of essentially 40 euros or $42 for 2,000 points, which essentially ends up becoming 2.15 cents per point. So not really an ideal one, but definitely wanted to at least make sure that you were aware of it. And then we have an enormous amount of points and miles opportunities. I'll be referring to a lot of landing pages and a lot of links. I will make sure they're all in the description once the show's over for you to be able to get that information. So the first one, well, first few, Accor Live Limitless is really seemingly to do a lot of promotion right now to get you to those hotels with some relatively good discounts. So the first one is that we have where if you book your stay before December 31st of 2024, you can earn 3x points on stays in North and Central America at various hotels, including Fairmont, Sofitel, Swissôtel, Novotel, Raffles, and more. Now, staying at any of the participating point hotels could be through January 31st of 25, but you must book your stay by December 31st. Registrations required. Then we have up to 25% off at just the Fairmont, at the select Fairmont hotels. There are 70 of them located worldwide, and you just need to book by March 30th of 2025, and that is for stays all the way through May 31st of 2025. And so 25% off plus breakfast could be a good deal if that was already in your plans. And then there is a 20% discount when booking your stay on their app and booking your stay by June 30th of 2025. There's no links or anything you just need to do. As soon as you are download their app and you utilize it, you should see discounts appear for that. And so there's not the only date that we're seeing is booking your stay by June 30th of 2025. And then we also still have Accor Live Limitless. Now, this is for a sale for all members with silver status or above. So if you have that, you will earn double points for select hotels in Europe and North Africa. Once again, you must register. You need to book by November 21st, but you have until March 31st to complete your stays. And it does require a minimum of 2 nights to qualify. But once again, we'll have links for that. Then for Air Canada, we still have point purchasing that is available through November 18th. And this was to get up to 30% bonus on your miles that you purchase. The limit is 1 million points purchased per year with 250,000 per transaction. That does bring the quote unquote cent per point down to basically a level that is normally valued. But as we always talk about, the cents per point that are ever discussed, it is only a baseline. You will determine your value that you're able to get out of that and if it's worth it in your particular situation. We still have Emirates, where if you're signing up for the first time and you utilize the link that I'll have in the description, you can get 2,000 miles for their Skywards program using Condor as the code to receive those miles. You do have all the way to March 31st of 2025. And then for Finnair, we have the up to 50% discount through November 20th and you get the 50% once you get to 75,000 miles to 200,000 miles, but you can start as low as 5,000 miles to get a 35% discount. And then for Hawaiian, which has been a lot of talk that has gone on because of the value that this is going to provide now that Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines are now essentially together. So you can get 100% bonus miles on your Hawaiian miles purchase. Now this ends at 11:59 tonight Hawaii time. And so I actually had to remind myself of what that meant. So I'm in the Eastern time zone, so it's 5 hours behind. So currently we're a little bit after 7 o'clock, so it's only 2 o'clock their time. So put that in for wherever you're located. So there's still probably for most of you all a lot of time. The beauty of this is that you get 100% bonus with as little as 5,000 miles, with the maximum purchase is 100,000 miles. So you can go anywhere from the $125 for 5,000 miles all the way to 2,500 for purchasing 100,000 miles, but actually coming up with 200,000 miles. So today would be the last day for it. Not necessarily still saying it's something to that you should or should not speculate on. Points always devalue, but if you do have something to be able to look at through Alaska or Hawaiian, it may be really worth looking at. And it is a very easy one-to-one transfer right off of Hawaiian's website to transfer it to Alaska. And then we have Hilton with 100% bonus on their purchasing of points, starting as low as 5,000 points. Maximum purchase is 240,000 points. And let me pop in here. And I see Luke had your finger on the trigger to buy 200,000 Hawaiian miles for 540, but didn't do it. I must admit, Luke, I've actually been thinking about doing it because there's a couple of flights I would really like to do, but I'm still about 10 months out before I would be able to pull the trigger. And I must admit, I'm a bit scared to try to do that for that much money. And so I'm probably going to pass on it, but I have a few hours left to try to think it through. And then John, what stopped you, Luke? Yeah, that's a good question. If it's just the speculation. Then we've got a number of Hyatt offers. We've got members save more. You can get up to 25% on Hyatt stays in Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. Now you do have to book by December 6th. You do get to travel through April 20th of 2025. Complimentary breakfast is included, and you need to use the promo code SAVE NOW. And it looks like there's 154 participating hotels. Then you have a 25% bonus on point purchasing through January 4th. Minimum purchase is 5,000 points. Now Hyatt has doubled the cap on the points that you can purchase, because they normally keep that down to 55,000 points a year, but they've bumped this up to 110,000. So you can max purchase is 110,000 points, receive 27,500 additional points for $2,640. $2,640. That's $1.92 per point. Once again, it's just a baseline, not anything more. Then we have 2x on stays at Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Your registrations need to be, registration is required by November 30th, and you need to complete your stay by December 24th of 2024. Now you can use this on paid or award stays, but as I've mentioned before, award stays are really not ideal, at least at this point, for any of the Mr. and Miss Smith ones I've seen. So 5 base points plus the 5 bonus points. Now you do have to book that directly with Hyatt, not through any other outlet. And then we have IHG, where we have a number of offers. We've got 3x points when you stay at Atwell Suites, Avid, Even, Garner, and Voco. Registration is required. Stays must be completed by December 31st of 2024, and 1 paid single night qualifies for that bonus. Then you have up to 40% off at Iberostar all-inclusive cash stays in Brazil, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Mexico. Now you do have to book by November 30th but it's valid for travel through January 31st, 2025. There's no codes or registration that's required for that. You should see up to that amount if you're looking at any of the Iberostars that fit that location. Then you have IHG again for saving 15% on reward nights, and this is focused on the newest or recently renovated hotels. They can be booked and different stay ranges from ranges at November 30th, December 31st, and January 31st. Registration's not required. I will have the link for the landing page where it will have the list of all of those locations in the time frames that it fits. And then last but definitely not least, as far as IHG, you can earn 5x on Lufthansa miles and more points on IHG stays. Now, registration and booking is required by November 30th to complete your stay by December 31st of 2024. This only applies to paid stays. You can earn up to 15,000 miles. You do have to make sure to register and book for that. Then we have a couple of Marriott's ones. Marriott, we got earning 10,000 points for a minimum 4-night stay at any participating all-inclusive for Marriott Bonvoy in the Caribbean or Latin America. Now you need to book with the promo code S2449 by January 9th, but you can be able to do stays between January 17th and April 26th of 2025, which would put you there at spring break. There'll be a link with full details on that. And then we talked last week about the 90-minute virtual timeshare presentation if you have the constitution to be able to do it. It's a Marriott Vacation Club. The offer expires December 31st of 2024. You do need to have an annual income of the household of 100,000 or more, but you can earn up to 20,000 points if you have a player 2 that lives with you and you're looking at an other time slot, not a premier time slot. And as I mentioned last week, make sure if you're going to take this opportunity or this top option, make sure to ask for more than what they're offering. There's no chance of you not getting more if you don't ask. And I've seen where people have been able to get more out of that. 4 to 6 weeks before the points will be deposited, though. 30-minute requirement. I believe it's 30 or 45 minutes. I'll make a note of that, but there'll be a link for that. And make sure when they talk with you, just be upfront. I'm here for the points. And then we have leading hotels of the world, obviously a very nice boutique brand, essentially, up to 100% bonus through December 13th. And that 100% is when you do 30 to 50,000 points. If you were buying, max purchase is 50,000 points. So 100,000 points would cost you $6,000. It's no small amount of money by any means, but if you're looking in those type of hotels, $6,000 for that point might be actually something that would save you some money if you're already looking at it. Citi is the only transfer partner for them, and that is on a 5-to-1 basis. So if you have your Citi thank you points and are looking to it, this may not even be necessary. Then we have Millenium Hotels, where you can earn an additional 20,000 points on each stay. Now, this does end tomorrow as far as being able to book. The stay does need to be completed by December 31st, and it does require 2 or more consecutive nights, and these are in select regions, which include Asia, Europe, Middle East, New Zealand, and the United States. Now, they will take them up to 3 months after your stay completion for you to get your points. Now, I'll have links for all of this. There are separate pages and links for each of those regions, but I'll make sure those are labeled for you to be able to look at. And then for Qatar, we have where you can join the Qatar Privilege Club if you haven't done that by December 31st of 2024 with the code JOIN0324. I'll have a link there. And if you go ahead and join and complete your travel after that by June 30th of 2025, they will award you 3,000 Avios if you're staying in economy class, or 5,000 Avios if you're in business or first class. And that must be on your first flight as a new member of Qatar. And then we have Wyndham, where you can get double reward points at select hotels. There is no registration required. I see no end date identified, but I'll have the link for the landing page with the list of locations around the world that cover that. And so before we move to the Alaska mileage plan, make sure I catch up. I was looking at that tool. What stopped me was my bank statement. Can't fault you there, Philmo. And see, Matt, not a gentle weep as a guitar. And so let me cover a couple of other items that are not here that I came across that I thought was interesting. So we've talked about how Chicago O'Hare is very limited on their lounges. I see where Lot Polish is now going to have a lounge there. It's going to be opening in the coming weeks in Terminal 5, and it's going to be about 6,642 square feet, seating 165 people. Now, that is for Lot Polish, this is their first lounge outside of Poland. And it makes sense because of it's going to be the carrier's largest outstation, basically, where it would provide service to Warsaw and Krakow. So outside of the Delta Sky Club that is over there, there are very limited and poor options in the international terminal. You have Scandinavian, which is small, and I hear has no bathrooms. And then you have Swissport Lounge, which I saw that the points guy had said was potentially one of the worst lounges in the country. So if you're a person that goes through O'Hare and are in the international lounge area and with Lot Polish, that may be something good. The other a couple items were related to the Apple Air tags. I mentioned this because I know I was looking for these. So apparently this is the lowest price that they have had for the Apple Air tags, with a 4-pack that you can get through Amazon for $69.99, which is nearly a 30% discount based on the normal $99 price. And it's not sure if it's going to be any better on Prime Day. So look for that and look and see if there's any Amex offers. If you have Amex, that may be something you might want to look at. The other part of this whole thing with the Apple AirTags is that they are starting a program to help various airlines be able to find your lost luggage. So they are going to be launching a feature called Share, and it's going to be where it will share the location of your AirTags with a third party, like an airline. And that is not something that they've had a feature of before. And so they are initially going to partner with 15 different airlines, including Aer Lingus, Air Canada, Air New Zealand, Austrian Airlines, British Airways, Brussels Airways, Delta Airlines, Eurowings, Iberia, KLM, Lufthansa, Qantas, Singapore Airlines, Swiss Airlines, Turkish, United, Virgin, as well as Vueling, Vueling, I'm sorry. I've never even heard of that airline. There is going to be privacy restrictions if it is something that you're considering, where basically the share function will be disabled as soon as you get your bag or 7 days have elapsed, whichever comes first. And if it's going to be the airlines that have access, there is a limited, what they call a small number of people or recipients that will be able to utilize it and to be able to look at that, and they need to authenticate it. So might be something very interesting. I am going to pick myself up those for my trip next month, and I will make sure to tell you and one of the airlines is Qantas is one of the ones on here, so I will be sure to share what I may or may not have gotten out of that. So before we move to the mileage plan, Larry said, in your opinion, is transferring Amex membership reward points to Hawaiian and then to Alaska a top 3 use of Amex points? So I think there'll be a couple questions I would throw out before I would answer. Is that if you're a person that's going to be looking at, depends on how much Alaska airline miles you're going to be looking at, because one, I think that if you get the personal credit card, then getting that companion pass as well as the 60,000 is a good option. And then on top of that, is if you're a renter and you're tying yourself to Built potentially, then you can be able to get the 3x on the rental on the points. Now you do have to pay the processing fee, but you don't have to necessarily use it every month. You can choose if there's going to be a point gathering that you're going to be looking at or mile gathering for Alaska or not. So I think there's some different options for it. Now I say that as far as best option, but I have to admit I'm a person that uses my Amex points to transfer Delta, which is never, I'll say rarely, a good option to do, but I'm left stuck with that's the only transfer partner I've got for Delta. And when I look at Virgin, I only, for what I end up trying to fly, I get spotty options out of it because I normally try to only fly first class when I can versus anything. So I think that would be the couple of things I would keep in mind. Are you going to be looking to get the Alaska miles on a regular basis, or is it for one particular trip? If it's one particular trip, then I think it's perfect use of Amex membership reward points. If it's something you're thinking you're going to be doing consistently, then I would, and potentially if you're renting, I would look at see if there's a few other options to be able to add on to that. So I hope that helps. So as far as the Alaska mileage plan, there was talk about people not being able to access some of these international awards when they're within the last 72 hours. So what has been reported by a few different people, as well as they've gotten information directly from Alaska, is it appears that Alaska Airlines has been blocking this, but it's due to the fact that there's been significant amounts of fraud with these last minute redemptions and with mileage plan accounts being hacked. And the points being used to book these last minute travels are being done and the trips essentially being completed before anyone finds out. So right now, Alaska is currently working on fixing the problem in their system. And during this time, the last minute, which is within 72 hours, these bookings, international partner bookings, are being blocked. They do say that it should be in a few days, not weeks. So we'll see how that goes. It does not appear to impact flights on Alaska Airline Metal, as well as it does not appear to impact American Airlines domestic flights. So if you are looking to do anything through Alaska within 72 hours, be aware that there may be some issues that you have because none of us really have a firm understanding or footing of which ones will definitely get an error message or not. So if you're looking at any of that, be sure to try to check as far as in advance as possible. Then we've got Virgin Red for Virgin Hotels. And what we're seeing is you can utilize Virgin Red points now for Virgin Hotels. Now, it does appear to be only for 6 hotels located in Chicago, Dallas, London, Nashville, New Orleans, and New York. It does not include the hotels in Edinburgh as well as Las Vegas. Now, the Virgin says that the redemptions can be as low as 25,000 points. I've not necessarily, when I did some looking, the lowest I could find is just over 30,000 points for the Nashville location. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. There are Virgin Hotels and there's Virgin Limited Collection. This is only for the Virgin Hotels. And if you're going to be redeeming your stay, if you're doing a point redemption, you have to book it at least a week out, not last minute. They do not allow those bookings to go on. And then if you're going to look at transferring the points, you do need to be a member of the hotel program, which is called the Know. You can create it in a minute or two, and you'll be prompted to link it to your Virgin Red account. So make sure that if you're looking at this, one, to make sure that the redemption is good for you. And then two, make sure to get linked up and sign up for the Know for the Virgin Hotels. And then let's move to Chase. So for Chase, we've got the Phoenix location that's now open in Terminal 4, South 1 Concourse. It's open from 4:30 in the morning to 10:30 in the evening. It's not the largest place at 3,500 square feet, but people have said that it looks larger because you got a panoramic view of the tarmac. It does have an indoor terrace, and it's featuring dishes from Larder in the Delta, which I have had. Excellent option over there. They also have pressed coffee, which is local, and a wine list from Parcel. And artist Timmy Ham has done some of the work there. If you're one of the if you're one of the first people there, they haven't given a number for this. You can actually get a custom designed luggage tag that they did in collaboration with Solagard. So if you happen to be there, might be a nice pickup, but they only said for while supplies last. Great addition to the airport. They currently do have various lounges, but in different levels. They have a number of Admiral Club lounges, a Centurion, 2 Escape lounges, as well as a Delta Sky Club and a United. But this is a nice touch for them to have there. And then we've got one opening soon, and this one is in San Diego. This is supposed to open next month. December 6th is kind of being kicked around or thrown out there from what I've read. It'll be located in Terminal 2, open from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, this one's going to be 10,000 square feet with a dedicated wellness area with bookable private rest pods, on-demand digital meditation from Debbie Brown, and facial treatments from Face House. These are similar benefits and services that you find in Boston and the LaGuardia locations. They also have a muralist that did work there, Hannah Daly, and Oscar's Mexican Seafood is where they have some of that food based off of. I've seen very good reviews of it, never have had it myself. And this is going to be the first credit card based lounge in San Diego. So definitely looking at creating more of a footprint. And speaking of that, we have a couple of other Chase Sapphire Lounge information. One is the Sapphire Terrace in Austin is going to be closing as of March of 2025. Now that location was only open for, well, really less than about a couple of years. Now this space is actually going to become public space. So I would expect, we don't necessarily know what it's going to look like, but it's any of that status is gone at that point. But if you were obviously for there, you're looking at a priority pass through Chase Sapphire Reserve or Ritz-Carlton for a member and up to 2 guests. If you have a priority pass, and I actually did not know this, you're entitled to 1 visit per year, and that is total, not 1 visit per lounge, just 1 visit per year right now. You can take your priority pass and be able to get access. $75 additional for a guest, and then even if you just wanted to go, it's $100 fee currently. Then they also have a pop-up location that is going to be coming to Aria in Las Vegas. The pop-up will feature food from Momofuku as well as cocktails from Apotheki. That's in kind of a lead up to the fact that Las Vegas will have their Chase Sapphire Lounge by mid-2025. Philadelphia is going to actually get theirs in early 2025. And then there's a planned location for LAX, but there's no timeline or time frame that we're going to see for that. So now let's move to the unfortunate news of the Caesar Diamond status loophole that is going to be ending. For many of us in the points and miles game, even if we have not been able to take advantage of it, we probably have heard about the fact of matching your Wyndham Diamond status to Caesar's Diamond. And that will no longer be the case. You will no longer be able to get Caesar's Diamond status matching with Wyndham Platinum or Diamond status when you got the status from a credit card. So beginning February 1st of 2025, that's where it will end. Just as a bit of history, prior to 2022, you could match Wyndham to Caesar and then later rematch Caesar's back to Wyndham because the status years didn't reset on the same date. Caesar's corrected that in 2022 by requiring you to get your Wyndham status in an official method. But that still allowed you to use credit cards to be able to get that, such as the business earner, which gave you automatic diamond status. So now from 2022 till now, we've been able to match that status based on the credit card. Like I mentioned, that's now ending. So what does it take to get Wyndham Platinum or Wyndham Diamond status the old-fashioned way where you could still match? Well, it takes you 15 nights to get Wyndham Platinum, and it takes 40 nights to be able to get Wyndham Diamond. So that's going to be ending soon. Now, if you are still looking to be able to do something with this, there is still the runs from what I've read and from talking with some people that you can still make the run for Atlantic City. There's some match opportunities with Ocean Club up there for sure, and that can end up getting you some benefits with cruise lines, MSC, I believe you can do it with. You were able to do it. I know that I was able to do matching easily through Carnival, but now there is some data points that they're talking about where they're now requesting that you are able to show them a gambling offer that you have for them to be able to match. That may not be in every person's case, but they were giving away cruises just by having having any status for a lot of different places. And I think they found they kind of got burnt on people not spending enough money. So if you're looking for that, there's going to be some options still, but this diamond status is going to be ending. And I see that Matt said, set up shop at the Wingate. That there's nothing wrong with that. That might be some mattress running to be able to make that end up happening. So want to make sure if there's any questions or anything that we should cover for anything. I think that the main thing that we need to be able to look at is definitely pay attention to those different opportunities. And like I said, there's going to be an immense amount of links when I finish this. I'll make sure, as I always do, putting chapters to this to make it easier to deal with after the fact. But otherwise, can't thank all of you all enough for taking the time of your busy time to spend with me, and I really appreciate it. And I will make sure to get this up for you as soon as possible. And I hope everyone has a great evening. Take care.